Hi there, this is Harry, and welcome back to my advanced English lessons with Harry. So later on, I'll give you my contact details if you want to contact me. So let's get back to the lesson. So what are we going to talk to you about today? Well, in today's lesson, we're going to look at advanced phrasal verbs using the preposition out. Advanced phrasal verbs using the preposition out. As always, I'm going to go through them with you one by one. I'll give you the list and then we'll go back into them, give you some examples, and hopefully you'll get an understanding as to how to use them. Okay, let's go through them one by one. To find out, well, that's really quite a simple phrasal verb. To find out some information. To find out whether you got the job or not. So you check your emails every day to see did you get the letter offering you the job. So I need to find out quickly because I've got really important things to happen. I want to know, do I have the job or not? So I really would like to find out, to discover whether I got the job or not. What did you find out in school today? What did you learn? Go onto the internet and you'll find out lots of information for your project. So you look up the internet, you go into some page and you find out information. Wikipedia is a great way for people now to find out unknown facts about whatever they're interested in. Spiders, insects, creepy crawlies, football, whatever it might be, to find out. Find out the source of the leak. If you've got a leak in your bathroom, drip, drip, drip somewhere, you have to find out where the leak is coming from and you have to fix it. So to find out. Next, to check out. There's a couple of ways of using that. Normally we check out the local restaurants. Yeah, so if you've just moved into an area, you've moved apartment or lucky enough to have a house, then when you get yourself settled, why don't we go into the town or the city and check out the local restaurants, see what's available. Do we have an Indian restaurant or do we have an Italian restaurant, or what's the cuisine that they are offering? So we want to check out the local area. We go for a walk and we walk around, see the park, visit the shops, check out what's in the area that we've just recently moved into. Of course, you can also check out of the hotel. You can check out the goods that you purchase in the supermarket. So that's a different way to use it. So what is the checkout time in the hotel? Usually it's midday so they can have a quick turnaround so the hotel rooms are available for the next guests checking in at 2 o'clock. So you check out and they check in. Okay, but if you want to check out the local restaurants, then you take a walk and see what they are like. Next, to puzzle out. Well, a puzzle is something that is tricky, yeah, like a jigsaw puzzle, yeah, or a crossword puzzle. So when you want to puzzle out something, you want to work out the solution, the answer, yeah? It'll take me a little while to puzzle out what exactly they are looking for. So you get a letter from somebody with lots of questions and it's written in perhaps very formal English, and it takes you a while to realize what exactly do they want? What are they looking for? So you try to puzzle out, to work out what is the exact information that they're looking for. If you apply for a job, or perhaps if you're making a visa application, and when you see the application form, there are 25 different questions. We want this, we want that, we want this. Yeah, so it takes you a little while to puzzle out, to understand what exactly it is that they are looking for. To suss something out. And this is really, really informal. Yeah, to suss something out is a bit like finding something out, okay? Yeah? So if your friend is having a birthday, a big birthday, 30th or 40th or 50th birthday over the next couple of weeks, you're talking to the other friends to say, or family, what will we buy him or her? And you need to know, because a lot of people have very particular tastes, and just because you like it, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to like it. So if you want to find out what might they like as a birthday celebration, what might they like as a birthday present, you need to suss them out. So you ask them some leading questions. What do you think about massages? Or what do you think about beauty treatments? Or are you still interested in photography? And have you bought any equipment recently. So you suss out what they're doing, what they are still interested in, and it might give you a little bit of a clue as to what you could buy them for that all-important present. Okay, so you suss them out without actually asking them up front. I mean, you could go along and say, okay, it's your birthday in 2 weeks' time. What do you want as a present? That's a really, really direct way to find out. But if you suss them out, you do it in a little bit secretive way, that you're asking questions that might be a little bit leading, but it'll give you the information, and you can go back to your friends and say, oh, I have it. I know exactly what he would like. Okay, to suss something out. To pile out. Well, we've spoken in the past about pile up, when everything is stacked on top of each other, but pile out is when everything sort of falls out, okay? So for example, if you're driving a car and you're taking the kids to the local football match, and a couple of the parents ask you, could you take their kids as well? So when you look in the back of the car, you've got 6 of them there, okay, with football boots and football gear. So when you come to the football stadium or the park where they're going to play, you open the door and they pile out. Means they fall out, literally out of the car onto the ground, and off they go to play the football match. Or at the end of the day, when the school bell rings, ding, 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 class is over, the teacher opens the door and the kids pile out of school, run into the playground to be collected by their parents, or to jump on the swing, or to kick the football around the playground. Okay, so they pile out. Okay, everybody pile out. Okay, so open the door and out they fall. Okay, one on top of the other. So we can pile out of the school, at the classroom. We can pile out of the car on our way to the playground or the football stadium to play the football match. Pile out. Literally fall out, bum, 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 one on top of the other. I'd just like to ask you, if you could, is to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because it really helps me and it helps us to keep the show on the road, so we can bring more interesting information and English lessons to you. To figure out. Well, to figure out is to work out and to understand something. I have to figure out my taxes this weekend. I've been putting it off and putting it off. I have a couple of weeks to do it, but if I don't do it now and I come up against a deadline, I'll only panic and I'll make a mistake. So it's going to take me a couple of nights to figure out exactly what I have to pay. So I've got to calculate my income, I've got to look at my expenses, and then I've got to figure out how much tax I owe, and then I've got to pay it. So to figure out. I'm trying to figure out exactly what they need. I mean, the customer has been on the phone a couple of times, but their message isn't so clear. So I need to know, do they want 12 boxes of 12 or 12 boxes of 4? So I need to go back to them and find out and figure out exactly what the order is, because if I send them too much, they'll only send it back. And if I send them too little, they'll be on the phone complaining. Okay, so we need to figure out exactly what it is they want. So to figure out means to work out, to understand, and see what the client wants, or what the amount of tax you have to pay. Can you figure this out? So somebody sends you a calculation, or your son or daughter come to you with modern mathematics, and they sit down with you and say, can you help me? I just can't figure this out on my own. So you look at this and think, I don't think I'm going to be able to figure this out either. But between us, perhaps we might be able to do it. So to figure out the answer to the mathematical problem, to figure out the answer to this particular equation, whatever it might be, we need to understand it, we need to find an answer, and therefore we can figure it out together. To drown out. Well, usually when we're talking about drown out, it's to do with sound, okay? So the music was drowned out by the digging in the building site next to you, okay? So you're playing your music, you're sitting out in your garden perhaps, it's a lovely sunny day hopefully, and you've got a little bit of music on, and you're having a nice soft drink and reading a book, enjoying the sunshine, and then all of a sudden you hear this bang, 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 drill, 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 hammer, 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 and the building site a kilometer away, they're making lots of noise, and it drowns out your stereo. You can't hear. So when something drowns out something, it means it covers it, or it prevents you from hearing that particular sound, okay? So the sound of the children fighting upstairs in the bedroom was drowned out by the music, okay? So you turned the music up a little bit louder so you couldn't hear the noise of the children squabbling and fighting in their room. So you turn up the music a little bit and that will drown out the shouting and the screaming. So when something else covers or prevents you from hearing something you want to listen to, then we can use the expression to drown out. Okay, so somebody might speak very loudly, okay, and if you're trying to say something, the other person beside you or behind you might have a louder voice and their voice drowns out your voice. Excuse me, I'm trying to ask a question here and somebody's talking over you and they speak a little more loudly, which drowns out the question that you want to ask. Okay, so to drown out, to cover, to prevent you or other people hearing the sound, the noise, the music, the question, whatever it might be. To sound out. Well, again, here we're talking about sound, but in a very different way. When you want to sound out somebody, you want to find out what they think or how they feel about something. Okay, so to sound you out. So a bit like we had the question before, to suss out. When we want to sound out somebody, we want to find out what their impressions are, what their views, or what their opinions are. So, for example, if we're launching a new product to the marketplace, you might want to sound out a few people to see what they think about it. So you might get together some of your colleagues, tell them that this is the new chocolate bar that we're hoping to launch in a couple of months, and what do they think? So they might want to taste it, they might want to talk about the timing of it, who it's aimed at, what the packaging is like. Yeah, so you want to sound them out. So you show them some sketches of what the packaging will look like. You show them how the bar will be made up, whether it's dark chocolate or milk chocolate or whatever it might be, and you get some opinions, impressions from them that might be helpful in the whole launching, developing of this particular product. So you like to sound them out. Okay. If something important is going to happen in the area, perhaps the local council are going to build some new facilities like playing fields or cinema or library. So they want to sound out the local people to see what they want. So they might come around and do a door-to-door questionnaire, or they may stop you in the street and ask you for your opinion. So they sound out the locals before they make a final decision. Look, we're here today to talk to you about the empty space that has been there for several years. The council are getting the opinions of the locals to see what's more important: a library, a cinema, turn it into a playing field, or develop it as apartments. So we're asking you for your opinion. We want to sound out the locals as to what they want in their area. So it's a great way of forming a partnership, the local government or council and the people, the residents who live there, to sound them out. Next, to worm something out of somebody. Now, important here to get the right pronunciation. Worm, warm, worm, warm. To worm, W-O-R-M, to worm something out of somebody is to get information that they are reluctant to share with other people. So they've got some information, some facts, and you're trying just to understand it. So you have to keep asking or digging to get the information. If you want to get a worm in the ground, you have to dig the soil with a little bit of a spade, and eventually you'll find the worm. So when you want to worm something out of somebody, you have to keep digging, metaphorically, keep asking them questions. Well, what about this? And what about that? And eventually you get the information that you're looking for. Why couldn't you just give me that information? Why do I have to spend so long worming it out of you? The kids, they've had a little fight at school and your son doesn't want to talk about it. Nothing happened, it's okay. But you've got a bruise on your face. You've got a cut here or a cut there. Something happened. Well, this and that. And then eventually you worm the truth out of them, exactly what happened. And then you're able to form your own opinion, to worm something out of somebody. And then finally, to fathom out. Well, we've already looked at to puzzle out, to figure out, and to fathom out is very, very similar. Okay, a fathom is a unit of measurement used when we're talking about the sea. So, if you want to find out the depth of the water, how many fathoms deep it is. Okay, so that's a unit of measurement. And when we want to fathom out something, we're trying to measure or to understand something. And often we use it, not all the time, but often we use it in the negative. I just cannot fathom out what he wants. It's going to take me ages to fathom out really where we start. I'm sure she cannot fathom out what happened. Why did he leave? Okay, so always when we're trying to work something out, trying to understand something, trying to find a solution to something, but often we use it in the negative. Yeah, I cannot fathom out. He's not able to fathom out. I wish I could fathom out. So there's always a little negativity around it. Okay, but it's all about understanding, working out, and finding the solution. Okay, so they're advanced phrasal verbs using out. Okay, so let me give them to you one more time. To find out, to check out, to puzzle out, to suss out, to suss out, to pile out of the car, to figure out, to drown out, to sound out, to worm out, or to worm something out of somebody, and then finally to fathom out, to understand, and as I said, often used in the negative. Okay, so they're the advanced phrasal verbs using out. As always, if you want to contact me, then you can do so on www.englishlessonviaskype.com. Very happy to hear from you. So why don't you send me a message? Why don't you contact me on our webpage and set up a trial lesson so that you can have a advance notice of the type of lessons that we can give you on a one-to-one basis. They can be for you or a family friend or whoever it might be. We're ready and willing and able to help you to improve your English. As always, I really appreciate you listening and watching, and join me again soon.